I wanted to come in and I felt this spontaneous movement to come in and talk about synchronicity a little bit. I had an interview. I was supporting a master's student who was doing her dissertation on synchronicity. And I just found myself instantly volunteering to support her. And I felt a compelling kind of urge to come in and talk a little bit about it and maybe offer perhaps a different angle on it. Whether you're a psychotherapist or not, synchronicity is something that we experience in life. And it's one of these moments where something happens and it appears that it answers maybe a thought that you've had or an answered prayer even. What is synchronicity? What is synchronicity? So for synchronicity to be here, there needs to be a kind of identity to be able to notice that and be curious about it. Something happens in the world outside of us and we notice it. There's an observation that's taking place. We notice it happening. Like, oh, that seems very synchronistic. It must mean something. It's pointing to a quiet knowing within ourselves. It's pointing to a kind of wisdom that's located somewhere, but we cannot find the location of that wisdom. But what we know for sure is that it attracts our attention sometimes, and it inspires a kind of curiosity. So the answer that was emerging very spontaneously in that interview is perhaps a different kind of lens on synchronicity. That for a long time, there used to be lots and lots of moments that, magically kind of answering or portraying a kind of connection of what it used to be experienced as an insight in here with what was occurring outside of me. And I would note it, and I used to have a notebook, I remember, where I used to write down, this happened, and this I dreamt this, and this happened in my daily life. And that somehow feels important. So I guess the invitation here in this video, as I'm tuning in now, is to inquire deeper into that synchronistic event that might occur in your life. And maybe ask yourself, what is it pointing to? Who does it feel important to? For a long time, there used to be a kind of attachment occasionally. It is something that would happen. Would write down the synchronistic things that would happen in my daily life. And although I wasn't speaking it, there was an unconscious kind of expectation. Oh, I'd like more of this to happen. And a kind of an attachment and grasping to the phenomenon of synchronicity, which in time began to dissolve. And when the identity collapsed in the timeless dimension, synchronicity now is seen as just another term that we as humans in this human body and form have created in order to create a kind of meaning from our experiences. And it's a kind of work that we're connecting to from a very deep level in our soul. But if we really break down and totally deconstruct the notion of synchronicity, it kind of implies that we need to have a dimension of time where it will appear in. Yeah, and it kind of implies that there is a sense of separation. What's happening here is, it's happening out there. It's a kind of connection, but it's synchronistic because it's a momentary connection. So the invitation here is, what if life can be experienced as one long synchronicity? Who would be here to observe it? And where would be observed from? And it sort of strikes me that for that kind of dimension to be here, we need to let go of the limited sense of identity that we hold, which wants to grasp, which wants to hold on to the special events. And with that dissolution, a new kind of pair of eyes arrive from somewhere, and then all we see is synchronistic events. And life takes a form close to a miracle. Things happen that blow your mind, literally. But for that experience to happen, the mind needs to have been blown. The mind needs to have exploded somehow. And what I mean by that is to really inquire into the nature of the spaciousness that we are. Because if we don't have an identity, if we don't have, and I'm careful with my words here, because we're still existing in this form, but we don't have the belief, the very rigid belief that we are, I am Maria in this little story that I built up for my life, and that's what I'm doing. But if that separation kind of dissolves with the inside and the outside, then we'll have the universal eyes of what, how I would call them, where you see connections everywhere. And there's the new kind of space. It's a new old kind of space that's been tapped into. And it almost feels like you are in a dialogue with a greater intelligence, because the surrendered identity makes space for something greater than that. And how prepared are we to do that? How prepared are we to really inquire deeply into who we are? With honesty and humility and radical honesty, and radical sense of compassion as well, and acceptance. Is there anything that can be here before all events and after? Who is here to witness your life unfolding in your day-to-day life? And who is here to witness your dreams at night? Is there a separation between these two states of being, the waking up, the waking state, and the sleeping state? Because for both, there seems to be a seamless witness as a foundational requirement, watching life unfolding, watching dreams happening. Or else how would we know? So if you're noting the synchronicities happen, let it be. It served its purpose for me for some time. And everything does serve a purpose until it stops serving a purpose. And until the search for any purpose ceases altogether. To be here, to reveal the inner, purposeless purpose that's inherent in all human beings. It's my belief. It's my experience. This is not another belief, but somebody could say it as another concept. But this dimension cannot be understood by the mind. It just cannot be understood by the mind. Reality is unfolding as it is. And when we have a new kind of eyes, we find synchronicities everywhere. Every step of the way, there's a dialogue. And the separation is realized to have been an illusion, a separation between the inside and the outside. And when that separation dissolves, it's truly saying that I am here and I am there. I'm here and I'm in my clients. I'm here, I'm in my children. I'm here and I'm in my husband. I'm in everything and everybody. I'm here and I'm in the tree. There is no separation. And it's a kind of a funny thing to describe because words will never be enough to describe. So that's it on synchronicity. Keep watching. Keep watching what's appearing as synchronicity in your life and keep inquiring. Don't attach to it, don't grasp it. Keep inquiring, and who's the one who's witnessing this? Take care.